Introducing Creative Mornings Birmingham. Birmingham is one of 195 cities across the globe hosting monthly breakfast lectures to encourage creativity and community. You might be wondering, what counts for creativity? And am I creative? The answer is yes and yes.
Creativity is any time that you solve a problem in an unconventional way.
If you're alive right now, you are creating something.
Creativity to me is something that you're born with.
Creativity to me, in a word, would be curiosity.
So, are you creative? What should you expect at Creative Mornings? Fresh coffee, friendly people, and an array of breakfast foods. It's an open event that celebrates and connects the city's creative talent. All you have to do is show up, be yourself, connect with others, and be open to new ideas. Come join us. And remember,
Everyone is creative.
Everyone's welcome.
Welcome to Creative Mornings. My name is Madison. I am the host and founder of the Birmingham chapter, and we are so happy you are here today. Today we have Laura Quick, the CEO of Good Grit Magazine and Good Grit Agency, speaking today on the theme Ripple. Everyone, please help me welcome Laura Quick.
Hey friends, I'm Laura Quick. I'm so excited to be with you guys again at Creative Mornings. I know it looks a little different now, right? We're virtual, but I remember when Madison first came to me and told me about the idea of Creative Mornings and bringing it to Birmingham, and I thought, how cool. The only thing that I was weirded out about was the words. There were all these themes that were like obscure words that you maybe were like, what does that mean? There's so many different meanings. And so when she invited me to coffee a couple of months ago to ask me if I would speak today, she told me this time's theme would be ripple. And that got me thinking, what kind of ripples have gone through my life in the last year, or even since I've seen you guys? And there are a lot of them. I think we've all been living through lots of ripples. They feel a little more like waves or tsunamis, but we've been celebrating new normal after new normal after new normal, and here we are again. And so, in true storytelling fashion, I thought I would share a story instead of a teaching or whatever. I'm just going to tell you something maybe that has happened to me in the last year and that maybe you will resonate, and some tools that I've started incorporating that could help you. I hope they do. Okay, so we're going to rewind back to a little more than a year ago when the world was shutting down. I was coming home from a work trip down on the coast, get home and pretty much find out we're going into a 2-week quarantine. And the first amazing thing that happened is my husband walked, and we'd only been married for, I guess, a little over a year at this time. And he says, hey, come over here. And he takes me to the sink and he wants to show me how to wash my hands. And I was like, this could be how you die, by showing me how to wash my hands. Because I didn't realize this was going to affect all of us so differently. For me, I was like, okay, 2 weeks, we're going to do the thing. We're going to stay home. My husband is like, planning for the apocalypse, okay? We're wiping down all the things. And so I think that's a good picture of probably how a lot of people's household went. There was one person who was like, we're gonna roll with it. There was one person who was maybe overprotective. There were some people who really probably didn't get on board as quickly as they could. And I thought about the ripples that made, right? So there were a lot of ripples from that. I feel like maybe a lot of us had to go reintroduce ourselves to family members. Hey, I'm your wife. Who are you? I thought you were my husband. You were teaching me how to wash my hands. I've been cooking dinner for you for 3 years. It's fine. I'm fine. You're fine. Well, you could die, actually, if you keep doing that. But there was a lot of that, right? So there's so many of us understanding there were waves and ripples going through our houses as we were trying to navigate another new normal. So I think about that. I think about how we all had to hunker down and learn or relearn how to do our job from a whole new perspective, new location. Many of us lost our jobs. Many of us lost clients because they were losing clients. There was this ripple effect of how this pandemic, how the unrest in our country of just really loving each other and accepting each other affected all of us. And so there were still ripples. And it was about 2 months in when I realized that I was spending a whole lot of time analyzing how everyone else was handling things and being pissed off about how they weren't handling it the way I wanted them to handle it. And that is when I decided to take a nice long look in the mirror at how am I showing up. What's interesting about that is in my work on the agency side of things, We do deep dives or discoveries. We do audits on our clients. And in our audits, we ask a series of questions, but the most powerful questions we ask are 4. And first, I'm going to read you guys a quote, and I have to pull out my phone because, is it really 2021 if I didn't have to read it off my phone? Mark Twain said, "Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection." I really love that one. And then Theodore Roosevelt said, "If you could kick the person in the pants responsible for most of your trouble, you probably wouldn't sit down for a month." And so when I started thinking about how I was handling clients, the rise of the agency clients we were getting in the middle of this pandemic, and we were asking so many questions, but the 4 most powerful questions we ask a client is what's going right, what's going wrong, what's broken, and what's missing. Those 4 questions help us create paths to solutions for them. And I would ask those questions week after week after week, client after client after client. And I really was super focused and worried about everybody else's stuff, and then finally got to a place where I wanted to be focused on me. So I took my audit that I do for all my clients and probably was subconsciously doing it for my husband and my kids, and what's wrong with them, what's going right with them, what's broken, what's missing. I'm gonna fix all the things. And I turned toward myself and took a good long look in the mirror and started asking those questions. What's going right? What are the things that I can control? Which is, by the way, the only thing you really can control is you. What are the things that I can control that are going right? What are the things that are going wrong? When I would answer the question, things that were going wrong. So maybe I keep hitting a wall with my husband because we just are not seeing this the same. I'm super relaxed and he is super stressed out. Well, it's probably wrong for me to assume he's going to walk over to my side of this and start seeing life exactly the way I see it. So anything that fell in the wrong column was just evidence that it needed to be eradicated. If it's wrong, it shouldn't be happening, right? And then anything in the missing column. So a lot of things that I abandoned in quarantine, many of us I feel like abandoned. I definitely abandoned healthy eating choices there for a little while. It got a little crazy, okay? But I also abandoned morning routines that really worked for me. So getting up in the morning and journaling every morning is something that makes me a sane person. And when every day just kind of became this blurry, like nobody knew what time it was, we're all just like Zoom call after Zoom call after Zoom call. So there were all these things that I had kind of stopped doing that were missing that I knew really worked for me. Missing things were things, they're very simple. You add them back, right? If they're missing, you know that you need to bring them back in. And then what is broken? So broken things might be my communication style with my family right now is broken. My communication style with my team is broken. You know, a lot of times if you're not getting consistency out of the people around you, it's probably a pretty good indicator that you might not be showing up consistently for them. And so I ask these questions: what's right? What's wrong? What's missing? What's broken? And anything that's right, I want to keep doing that. Anything that's wrong, I want to get rid of it completely. Anything that's missing, I want to add it back in. And anything that's broken, I want to fix it. So paths to solution exist in those 2 bottom quadrants. Missing and broken things are things that you can fix or add in. Wrong things go away. And the right things, you keep doing them and you do them better and you grow in those things. So when I started asking myself these 4 powerful questions, I started to realize that the ripple effect of my self-evaluation changed the way that people around me were interacting with me. So this is this small tool that I was using every day, like clockwork, to solve problems for clients, to solve problems even for my employees and teams, but I wasn't doing it for me. And so I guess my question to you today, through kind of a parable story, right? That's the story of my last year and a half of just self-growth and learning that it's easy to see what other people are doing that they could be doing better. It's easy to see what's missing in someone else's life or what's wrong or broken. And we often shy away from telling people what's right. So I got into the habit of just saying, I'm going to claim the things that are right in the people around me. I'm going to celebrate and see what is in my husband and my kids and my employees and my team members, just everyone. And I'm going to be a little bit harsher on myself on how I evaluate what's missing, what's wrong, and what's broken in my life. The ripple effect of that, by the way, is that people like you more. And it's nice to be liked more, especially when we're all stuck at home. But as life is starting to kind of change and open up, and the world is able to take off their masks because we're getting vaccinated and we all feel much more safe, we're going to all come back together. And I think a really healthy thing to think through is, how are you going to show up? If you show up as a person, a whole person who self-evaluates, you're so much more likable. I know I am so much more likable when I'm taking a good long look at me. And so incorporating this tool in my life, and as things are opening back up, my husband is a concert promoter and is actually just announced a bunch of new concerts, and we're all very, very excited about that. But I think we have an opportunity to take with us our most healthy version of me into the world by asking good questions, self-evaluation, and just leaning into the uncomfortable mess of knowing that if you really are asking these questions and answering them honestly, you might find out you are doing something wrong, which sucks. I hate being wrong. But it's healthy. It's healthy to admit, to own when we're wrong, and then move forward. Same thing with things that are missing or broken. So my gift to you today is a gift that I feel like someone way back in my past gave me, which was just learning how to ask these really powerful questions to other people. Now I'm asking them to myself. Maybe you can ask them to yourself, and we can all show up more whole, more loving, more kind. Because if you like yourself, other people will like you too. And self-evaluation is a great way to send a positive ripple into the world. I'm so thankful that you guys let me come and hang out with you. There is going to be a little worksheet that you can download. I already have it. I mean, it's cool. These are cool questions to ask to your clients, to your teammates, whatever, but it's also just a really cool tool that you can use for yourself. So happy Friday. Thanks, guys.